I'm Jay Crawford. Great to be with you again. Betsy, a good Tuesday afternoon to you and to everyone watching at home.
You too. A little cooler today. Matt's going to be along with an update on the forecast. Still storming down in the deep south. We have rain coming our way, some thunderstorms in our forecast too, so lots to get to on that. But we begin tonight on a violent note after several shootings around Northeast Ohio yesterday. Let's start with an update on a homicide that took place in Cleveland on an RTA bus last night. Brandon Simmons joins us now from East 30th and Euclid, where that shooting happened. Brandon, from what we understand, a person is now in custody.
Yeah, that's right, Betsy. We do know that one person has been arrested in this case. They were arrested overnight around 2 a.m. And we're also learning a lot more information, as you said, about that shooting that happened here at 30th and Euclid along the Health line. Now, according to police, the shooter, now identified as 28-year-old DeLorne Martin, was already sitting toward the back of the bus with his girlfriend. The person who was shot and killed has been identified as 21-year-old David Cotrelis. Now, police say he got on the bus with his girlfriend and began punching Martin. Martin fought back initially before pulling a gun and shooting Cotrelis. Now, Martin then left the scene, and later in the evening, he showed up at South Point Hospital with a gunshot wound of his own. Now, he was taken to Metro Health for further treatment, and then he was arrested when he was released from there. Now, investigators are still working to understand exactly what happened on board the bus, or what actually led to this happening on board the bus. But right now, they're asking anybody with information to call in if they can help them figure that part out. Right now, Martin is being held on an arrest charge of murder and also a prior contempt of court charge, Betsy.
All right, thanks for that update, Brandon. Now, we also understand there was another shooting about an hour before that one on the bus. A teen was shot at Cleveland Heights Park. What is the update on that one?
Yeah, that shooting happened at Kane Park. That was around 6 o'clock, a little after 6 o'clock yesterday evening. And we do know that that one happened at the basketball courts areas there. Now, police responded and took statements from people who were there at the time, but they still have very limited information about what happened there. The victim was a 13-year-old who was shot in the buttocks, but he's been treated and released from the hospital already. Police are still investigating what happened there. And in that case, there have been no arrests. So, of course, again, anyone with information, you should call and let police know what you know.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much. Jay.
All right, Betsy, now to the latest on Ukraine. Today, a senior defense official said Russia has intensified their efforts to capture the port city of Mariupol. This video shows explosions at industrial buildings and factories there. However, that official also said it appears that now Ukrainian forces have been successful in taking back some of that territory that the Russians had previously captured. Meantime, tomorrow, President Biden flies to Brussels. This is for an emergency summit with other NATO leaders to discuss the war. Now, as the attacks intensify, the Biden administration is on high alert for cyber attacks from Russia. They're urging U.S. businesses to take added precautions because of evolving intelligence that Russia could be targeting American companies.
But what can you do for yourself? We spoke with the director of Cybersecurity of Infrastructure Security Agency, Jen Easterly, when she was in Cleveland recently for a Women in Cybersecurity conference. Here's her #1 tip for everyone.
One most important thing that we can do to keep ourselves safe online is to enable multi-factor authentication.
Now, for those of you that don't know, multi-factor authentication requires you to confirm your identity through a text, email, code, or Face ID when you try to log into an account. It's essentially a second layer of security.
And it's a good thing. Well, USA Today suggests making sure all of your programs and software is up to date. Think before you click. If you get that weird feeling, don't do it. Don't click. And be sure that you create strong and unique passwords. I got to say, the Google Authenticator, I use the Google Suite, and I think it's amazing. They just brought this out within the last couple of years, and it changes the passwords that you authenticate with every 30 seconds. So you kind of have to be fast, and it's almost like a game.
They send you that code, you got to boom.
You just watch and you see, and then boom, you put that password in, and it just verifies that it's you.
And because it's constantly changing, it eliminates the possibility or greatly reduces the possibility of anybody hacking into that account. The one thing, we've all taken, if you work for a big company, as we do, you've likely taken cyber classes online that the company makes you take. And at the time, we all say the same thing. Oh, we got to do this again.
Yeah.
But they are so helpful. And the number one thing that I always take away from, look at the sender's email address.
Yes.
And oftentimes it's going to be just a string of letters and it's going to be something you don't recognize. Usually delete immediately and never click on a link that you don't know what it is. And so sometimes they can dress those up to look like authentic links. If you don't know what it is, don't click, because when you click, it opens the computer, not just your computer, but company-wide, to a possible invasion.
You become the wormhole.
Yeah.
Don't be the wormhole. That's the last thing you want. The whole company goes down because Betsy Kling clicked the link. That's not a good place to be.
Don't be that person.
Don't do it.
I like that. That's good. That's great advice. All right, now on your feet at 5. Last spring, a House bill went into effect. It mandated social workers, vets, and counselors report animal abuse if they see it. 3 News reporter Isabel Lawrence checked in with an animal shelter here in Northeast Ohio. It's about 1 year now since that bill went into effect. She wanted to learn how these changes are impacting them.
At Friendship Animal Protective League in Lorain County, animals find their forever homes. But another goal is making sure animals are cared for. In Ohio, House Bill 33 went into effect in April 2021. It mandates that social service professionals, veterinarians, and counselors report animal cruelty or neglect they may encounter on calls.
We're seeing a handful more of those particular calls. We are locally, and we're really proud of our adult protective services and child protective services who are taking advantage and reaching out to us in these cases.
Greg Willey, executive director at Friendship APL, says they are grateful for these relationships, but the animals coming from these cases often require more care.
And a lot of these animals that are coming in through these types of situations, they're complicated. They require more time in the shelter, more time to recover.
That additional time and care means they can't take on more animals as quickly. Lake County Humane Society says they are receiving 2 to 3 calls per month from House Bill 33. The calls aren't impacting their shelter capacity, but they tend to be more serious cases of animal neglect and abuse.
It's a very positive piece of legislation.
Kristen Fox-Berkey, executive director of Lorain County Children's Services, says while the agency has reported animal neglect in the past, the bill makes reporting more consistent. It also plays an important role in protecting people.
If the APL or Humane Society in the county receives a call regarding animal cruelty and they go in the home and there's children in that home and they have concerns regarding their welfare, they are mandated then to make a call to our agency.
Isabel joins us now live from the newsroom. Isabel, I know that you called around to other agencies and organizations. What are they seeing?
Yeah, Jay, so City Dogs Cleveland told me that they are not feeling the impact of House Bill 33, but they are currently inundated, they said, with strays. And the Lorain County Dog Kennel says they're not impacted by the bill because they primarily take in strays, but they are definitely very full right now, Jay.
All right. Isabel Lawrence live tonight from the newsroom on What's New. Isabel, thanks.
Well, a new chapter is ahead for the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. Today, they revealed details of a major project that will expand the zoo's very popular rainforest. The Cleveland Metroparks Zoo revealed plans for its new 140,000 square foot indoor destination. The expansion will be centered around the 2-story cross-country mortgage forest gallery, a new entranceway to the primate forest. It'll be the new home for the park's gorillas and orangutans. It comes after the zoo celebrated the birth last year of both a baby gorilla and a baby orangutan, 2 of the world's most endangered primates.
And we're going to utilize a roofing material that allows light to come in. So the inside of these new gorilla and orangutan spaces will be like you're outside. So even though it stays warm in the winter, it'll be sunlight, great guest experience, ultraviolet light for the animal. So
that is so cool. We're so excited about that. The zoo hopes to start construction next year. No cost details as of yet. It'll be part of a 10-year project leading up to the zoo's 150th anniversary.
Wow.
I remember when that rainforest opened and it was so just moving. It changed everything.
Wow.
And it's just been a real kind of a jewel down there in the Zoo Valley.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's going to be exciting. No details on the cost. I'm going with multiple dollars.
A few, yeah.
I'm going multiple dollars because just the renderings of it, you can tell it's going to be a huge project financially, but also it sort of stretches their calendar.
Sure.
You know, so when we're looking for things to do in the winter months that are fun and activity-based, you can go there, and I like the idea of you need it with the animals there. They need to have that sunlight.
Sure.
And it's a rainforest after all.
And the nice thing too, you know, the zoo is open year-round. You can go to the zoo in the winter too. But it
I imagine the attendance dips dramatically.
It's a little chilly outside after a while. You want to warm up. That rainforest is a great place to do it.
Boost their attendance through the winter months. I'm looking forward to it.
World class.
Really cool.
World class.
Absolutely. Still to come on What's New, we're going to tell you what's new as of today when it comes to transportation in and around the city of Cleveland. It's pretty cool.
Options, everybody. You got options. Plus, even though their baby boy is 6 weeks old, Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott have decided a name change is in order. And of course, I'm not making that up. Kira is going to have all the details for us in Pop Break.
Doesn't everybody get a name change at around 6 weeks?
We changed our minds.
Our first hello of the day to Matt Wentz. Today just felt gloomy to me, Matt.
Yeah, a little gloomy on the cool side. Very Seattle-esque, all right? And tomorrow's not going to be Seattle-esque. We're going back to the deep south tomorrow. Big changes in the forecast in terms of some heat and humidity tomorrow? What about that? That may kick off some thunderstorms. But for tonight, no worries. We do have some showers, another wave pushing through northeast Ohio. So do plan for some showers. Temps in the 50s. We'll talk about a severe weather threat tomorrow and then a much colder forecast after that coming up in the forecast.
Oh, it's Tech Tuesday, and today we are talking about a new way to get around Cleveland. Bird launched its shared e-bike service today with 100 bikes across the city.
Each bike, Betsy, has an e-assist that makes it easier. That's help from like an electric power generator to make riders actually put out less energy. It also can take riders so you can coast up a hill. It's got that much power, but before you hop on, you're going to need to download the app. That will show you where the bikes are located and scooters, and also the health of each bike. And I'm assuming by health they mean battery life. It's a great idea.
Select the bike icon. It'll show you the health, the battery power of that bike. So if you need to go somewhere a bit further, you want to make sure that you're on a bike that has a bit more of battery power as opposed to something that may be, halfway there because someone has already ridden it.
Once you select a bike, it will also tell you how much your trip is expected to cost. It charges by the minute and $1 just to unlock the bike. The company hopes to add more as the weather warms up. I love the scooters and bikes.
I do too.
I love them. I love
Big
to
fan.
take them to Progressive Field for live shots, for games. People are like, isn't that Betsy Clay? I'm on my way to
Waving
a
on her
live shot.
scooter. They're fun.
You have to be
really fun.
extremely careful.
Yeah.
Never, never, never try to go one-handed on a scooter.
Yeah, there is
I'll tell you,
danger
that
involved.
goes bad. And then obviously you got to obey the traffic rules too. And if you have a helmet, carry a helmet with you. That's the best bet of all. But they can be very fun.
So I tell you, I have an electric bike myself, and I like to pedal, but it is nice, like if it's a long ride,
Sure.
that the electric power is there. But it's kind of a guilty pleasure that whenever I use that,
Yeah.
I feel lazy.
I was going to say, when you're on the treadmill, do you let the treadmill move your legs for you?
No, now that
or-
is obviously just workout based. This is transportation based. And
Jay's
there's a
on the
difference
elliptical again. You working hard, buddy? Woo!
in coasting on the elliptical.
Hardly working.
Yeah, and so when I was thinking about my weather word today, I went with lazy. Because whenever I go by someone, if I'm in coast mode, I start to pedal just so it makes it look like.
You should pedal backwards.
No, listen, I've done that, and they go, "What is that? Where is that bike?" It's electric. It's magic.
And lazy is just my own exercise routine, period.
Yeah, that's
You got the towel, the sweatband wrapped around the actual exercise equipment itself, just in case. Yeah, that's good.
That's right.
Oh boy. Well, we should call them the cling carts getting around town.
Cling carts.
Hey,
I
look,
like
Colin's
that.
on her cart again.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Need a little basket, a
Yeah, a
bell.
little basket, a little bell on it. Yeah, that'd be great. Perfect. Well, we got a couple more hours to ride here before the rain moves into downtown Cleveland. We're in the 50s today, kind of cool. We've got a nice breeze out of the east. Remember, the wind always pointing towards low pressure. That low pressure that's created all this severe weather still well off towards our south and the west. We've had a smattering of showers today. We've got some dry air aloft as well, so a lot of that is kind of faded as it's moved in. This one should move in pretty nicely, though. We've got decent rain falling down near the Mansfield, Belleville area, up towards Huron County, near Wellington. All that's going to advance east in the Cleveland area this evening. What we're looking at is a bigger area of low pressure. We've got snow on the northern end, still severe weather ongoing. It's been about 24 hours straight of severe weather with this line of storms associated with the cold front. You can see now moving into areas of western Alabama, Mississippi, and New Orleans about to get hit pretty hard. We've had ongoing tornado warnings, including one on the ground right now. They've had 24 tornado reports yesterday, 19 so far today. You can see where the bulk of that severe weather is going to be as we go throughout the evening in areas of Mississippi. Tomorrow it gets interesting, though. This storm kind of elongates. We still have a severe threat down towards Georgia, but we also have a severe threat here locally tomorrow as a little wave of energy with this low pressure comes up into the Ohio Valley. So we'll explain here in a second. Notice temperatures kind of flatline tonight near 50, so a mild night is going to remain cool. We will have those showers coming and going tonight. Not expecting any thunder or anything like that overnight. Tomorrow, your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. This is how I think it plays out tomorrow. We'll likely get a morning round of rain. Could be pretty soaking at this point. That morning rush hour looks impacted by some pretty decent rain. That should move out. I think we clear out at some point midday through early afternoon. We'll still have some scattered showers out there, but we'll likely have some peaks as well. This is when the warm front goes through. So you notice we're talking lunchtime temperatures right near 50 still, so still kind of cool. But by afternoon, that warm front's going to get lift north, and we can't get lazy on this forecast tomorrow afternoon because we're going to have temperatures that bump well up into the 60s. And there you go. Models indicating a pretty good risk of some storms that'll move through. Primary threat with these is going to be damaging winds and hail tomorrow. Cannot rule out tornado risk as well, especially the further south and west you get. We'll have to keep an eye on these. Time frame is going to be about this time tomorrow through early evening, and then it's out of here. We don't return drop or really cold behind this. We turned that back into the 40s. Just kind of raw on Thursday with some showers around. So severe weather threat tomorrow. Keep that in the back of your mind. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. Showery and cooler. Look at the trend heading onto the weekend. We turn those rain drops over to some flakes perhaps Saturday and Sunday. Kind of raw, but again, we'll enjoy the spring-like feel tomorrow. Betsy.
All right. Thanks so much, Matt. Oof. Ahead for us on What's New, Jennifer Lopez is remembering a legend lost. Kira has that story and other entertainment headlines ahead in Pop Break.
And what happens when an 80-year-old man meets Alexa for the first time? I can tell you this, it is worth the watch, and we'll see it together when What's New comes right back.
Names. I don't know. Sure, it'll be great. Right. He'll say something. Fantastic, Matt. Thank you. Here.
All right, I cannot wait to hear more about the 6-year-old boy who is getting a new name.
Yeah.
But first, J-Lo pays respects to a legend.
Or 6-month-old. Is it 6-month-old, Kira? 6 years?
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks?
Yeah, he's 6 weeks old.
Boy, talk about a quick change of heart.
Well,
Kara Cotton joins us now with the latest on that. We are all ears.
Hey, Jay Betsy, we are definitely going to get to that story. But up first, it's hard to believe that it's been more than 20 years since the death of Selena. But Jennifer Lopez continues to keep her life and legacy alive. J-Lo, who played the queen of Tejano music in 1997 classic Selena, is celebrating the 25th anniversary of the film's release. In a post on Instagram, she wrote, "This movie means so much to me. Selena and her family mean so much to me. And I was so lucky to be chosen to play her." Playing Selena was a breakout role for J-Lo, who also posted pictures and video of her time as Selena. The classic movie about the music superstar is returning to theaters next month. Selena Quintanilla Perez was fatally shot by her fan club manager in 1995. She was just 23 years old. And John Travolta is taking things to new heights. The longtime actor announced in a video on Instagram that he's added another license to his aviation portfolio. He now holds a 737 license, which according to the Alliance Aviation, prepares him to make the switch from private to commercial airplanes. The 68-year-old actor has been a licensed pilot since he was 22 years old. And Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott have had a change of heart when it comes to their son's name. Yesterday, just hours after Kylie shared a recap video of her pregnancy on YouTube, the entrepreneur and reality TV star posted to her Instagram story a little FYI for everyone saying, "Our son's name isn't Wolf anymore. We just didn't feel like it was him." So while we still don't know what the baby's name is, what we do know is that the family is happy and healthy. The Kardashians have a history of picking unique names, so Jay and Betsy, while Wolf wasn't the winner, I'm sure the baby's name will be equally as special.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. He just doesn't look like a wolf to me, honey. Well, change his name then. That's how they roll.
When you have that much money, you can do what you want.
I guess.
And can I just say, it would actually be kind of fun to be on a plane and the pilot comes on. "This is your captain speaking." And it's John Travolta's voice, and you're like, Wait a
He'll
minute.
stand in the doorway of the little pilot's
Just watch the
of
hair.
the cockpit.
Watch the hair.
And he'll just do one of these numbers right
the
here.
dance moves.
Welcome to Delta. Going nonstop to Phoenix today, kids.
Dance fever all the way.
That's Saturday Night Fever,
Little
John
jive
Travolta.
going down the runway.
That's pretty wild. All right, I love this. It's going to be the best thing you see all day.
Thanks, Kira.
It's our worth the watch. It might set off some of your Amazon devices at home, so I apologize in advance, but I promise it's worth it. Watch what happens when an 80-year-old meets Alexa for the first time. Enjoy.
Alexa? What? How about sausage and pepperoni pizzas? Are they good for you or not? Alexa? Sausage and pepperoni pizzas.
Sausage added to your shopping list.
I can't. What'd you? Shopping list. I don't want to shop underwear. I didn't say that. Sausage.
You already have sausage on your shopping list.
No, I don't want. Alexa? I don't want a shopping list. I want to ask you.
I'm only able to clear your shopping list, not delete it.
We've all been there.
Would you like me to clear the 3 items on it?
Yes, because I don't want that. Thank you.
Anytime. Literally.
She said literally.
I think we've all had those moments where we're introducing this piece of technology to an older relative, in my case, my mom.
Oh, my mom too.
And my mom was Kenny. She just, boom.
My mom was like, Alexandria, Alexis. She could not get the name down. It was hysterical.
I love it. I absolutely love Kenny. He's my favorite person.
2 million followers on TikTok, and his goal is to continue to spread kindness. 1942 is when he was born.
Yeah, and Alexa at the time was just a name. There were no cell phones. There was no internet, so I think Kenny's doing pretty well. You keep going, Kenny.
Bless his heart.
I didn't see that.
I didn't want sausage. Shopping list. Ahead in the second half hour of What's New. Have you heard about the proposed gas stimulus payments? With prices at the pumps surging, some politicians want to send eligible Americans cash cards to offset the price increases. It's our top talker, and it's next.
My favorite part is he's like, underwear? Where'd that come from? Plus, we're talking about the average price of both new and used cars. They have surged over the past year. We're going to tell you just how much the prices have gone up, and you'll probably be shocked just as much as we were.
And we have a What's New surprise straight ahead. It's the story of how one doctor's actions during COVID are being repaid today. You don't want to miss that. It's in the second half hour of What's New.
Hello.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We start tonight at 5:30 with 3 things you need to know. We have an update for you on the deadly shooting on an RTA bus last night here in Cleveland. The shooting happened near East 30th and Euclid. They say the shooter, DeLorne Martin, was sitting toward the back of the bus with his girlfriend. He is accused of shooting and killing David Cotrelis, who also got on the bus with his girlfriend and then started punching Martin. Martin fought back before pulling a gun and then shooting Cotrelis. He left the scene. Police arrested him around 2 this morning.
Betsy, we have new details on the war in Ukraine tonight. According to a senior defense official, it appears Ukrainian forces were successful in taking back some territory that was previously occupied by the Russians. This comes as the Russians have intensified their efforts to capture the port city of Mariupol. Tomorrow, President Biden flies to Brussels. This is for an emergency summit with other NATO leaders, and also they will plan on discussing the war. He will then head to Poland, where millions of Ukrainian refugees are taking shelter.
Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court confirmation hearing got contentious today as senators began their first round of questions. Her background as a public defender, including representing inmates at Guantanamo Bay, got a lot of scrutiny. Some Republican senators tried to paint Judge Jackson as soft on crime. She forcefully rejected that idea. Judge Brown also stated that she's impartial and that she believes we have to hold people accountable, but fairly under the Constitution. Well, with all that, we welcome you back to What's New at this 5:30 half hour on Tuesday afternoon. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford.
Yeah, this is a big talker, really, the last year. Gas prices, but more recently the last month as they've soared over 75 cents.
Yeah.
And now they're over $4.20 a gallon. That's the national average. But our top talker at 5:30 is this proposed government-run gas stimulus program. If approved, the plan would send direct payments to Americans in the form of $100 a month for individuals, $200 a month for couples, plus an extra $100 monthly for all other dependents living at that address. And this is proposed to go on each month in which the national average of gas exceeds $4 per gallon. To be eligible, single earners would have to make less than $75,000 a year. Joint household earnings would have to be below $150,000 a year. So what do you think? Are you all for the idea of the government sending all Americans money to offset the gas prices? What do you think?
This one's a bit of a stumper for me. There are other options that are available. You can cut down on trips and all that. I think the big thing starts to come when you put it into the framework of all that the economy has been through and all that the individual people, Americans here, have been dealing with over the last 2 years with the shifting economy. A lot of people lost their jobs. They're still trying to recover from that. There's a lot of different things at play. I'm not an economist, so I'm not going to pretend to be one. If on the surface,
sure.
Well, bring me the money, But then you go, oh, well, wait a minute.
Somebody's got to pay for it.
We are paying more across the board.
I wish that we could better identify those in severe need. Betsy, those that are choosing either putting gasoline in their car.
What about farmers?
Or getting food for their family.
Farmers have to get a tractor out to put their entire crop in and all that stuff. That all takes gas.
Quickly, the opponents on this say, be careful here, because most economists do point to the trillions of dollars that our government flooded the economy with in the free stimulus payments during COVID as the reason that we're looking at 8% of inflation right now. So they say the more money you flood the system with, the more you devalue the dollar. That's just one of the basic tenets of economy. I don't fully understand it. I won't pretend to either, but one way or another, I hope those that really need it get it.
Yeah.
That's what I hope.
Well, let's talk about cars. Speaking of high gas prices, we've also endured chip shortages, and high demand is definitely playing a role in having a big impact on new cars, leases, and especially the demand for used cars. Prices are now at an all-time high.
Wow.
New cars in February sold for an average of $46,000 if you could find them.
Yeah.
That's up almost $6,000 in just 1 year. Now, for the first time ever, the average price for a new car is $700 more than sticker price. What? Above MSRP. No haggling. What?
Yeah.
Leases are about $560, which is up $83 from a year ago. Used cars are averaging $30,000, up from $23,000. That has been something I've heard a lot of people talk about.
Yeah.
They see the Kelley Blue Book value or whatever valuation online for their car. Some cases, it is over what they paid for it.
I know.
It's incredible.
I had a relative recently that was involved in a truck accident, not his fault, but the insurance company totaled out his truck.
Yeah.
He drove the truck for 3 years, Bets. And the insurance company paid him $10,000 more than he had paid for the truck.
More.
3 years earlier.
Oh, my word.
Because that's the current value.
So you, on the surface, you're like, oh, I'm going to sell my car. This is awesome. Yeah, but if you
got to
have
buy
to
a new one.
replace it, good luck.
You know what? Buy an electric bike. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Smaller carbon footprint, and you save a lot of money.
Till November. Buy some gloves.
Yeah, you'll need a big
Coming up
coat,
next
too.
for us here on What's New. One doctor gave so much during the pandemic. Now we're giving something back to her. Oh, What's New surprise is coming up.
Plus, LeBron's thunderous dunk last night
Sick.
came at the expense of a good friend. What the parties involved had to say about it after the game is ahead in Clicking in Cleveland. Betsy's right, it was sick.
Mic check. Clicking in Cleveland, we have the dunk from LeBron James. Thanks.
And go ahead. You can go ahead and toss. That's fine.
You do it. Do it.
Okay, got it. I'm going to start with a PSA, if that's okay. Tomorrow, Statewide tornado drill has been canceled. 9:50, I think they're planning on this. I know Emmy School is planning on doing it. A lot of schools where it's been canceled tomorrow. And you know why? Wouldn't that coincide with the threat of severe weather tomorrow? What are the odds of that, right? Well, we've got some showers tonight. No severe weather tonight. The rain moving back in. We've had a couple waves of showers throughout the afternoon. This one's going to stick around. We've really saturated the air mass from the top down. So we're seeing some pretty decent rain now near Norwalk now. Light to moderate rain falling down towards New London. Ashland getting into it. Mansfield. This will spread into the Worcester area, eventually Medina over the next 45 minutes or so, and Millersburg getting rain. That will head over towards the Canton area in about an hour or so. The bigger picture, though, we've got this rain to get through tonight, stretching back towards Indiana. All the severe weather as of right now down towards the Gulf Coast. Big old squall line heading through northern Alabama. They've got damaging wind as well as tornadoes with this. You notice the tornado watch, couple warnings in there. This has just been ongoing for about 24 hours now. That's where the severe weather is expected to stay tonight. Tomorrow, though, it gets interesting. Area of low pressure winds up off towards the north. We get a little instability up here. We're not talking just severe threat in the southeast tomorrow. It also translates here in the Ohio Valley, and our severe risk locally will be tomorrow afternoon through tomorrow evening. So this is how it plays out. Your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. Here's your morning round of rain. This is the latest model run. You notice how the rain kind of gives to some clearing skies. Likely some peaks mixed with clouds during the day with scattered showers. But the bulk of the action looks to come in really tomorrow afternoon around this time. You notice the models picking up, and not exactly where the storms are going to be, but the fact that we're going to have some showers and thunderstorms around here tomorrow. Damaging winds, hail, primary threats. Cannot rule out a few isolated tornadoes with this. 'Tis the season, right? We're in March, and that would be tomorrow evening. Eventually, everything will push on out. Temperatures will spike before that into the 60s. It'll be windy during the day as well. And then by tomorrow evening, our threat is over. We turn to kind of a raw day on Thursday as the colder air wraps back in. The bigger pictures we head on into the weekend, we bring that wraparound moisture in here Thursday. Friday, Saturday, we set a new pattern in here where we bring cold air out of Canada. That will ignite, a little lake effect snow around here. And then eventually we stay in that colder pattern as it looks to at least start next week. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast 65. All the better we're going to do over the next 7 days with that severe chance. Make sure you're weather aware tomorrow. We'll be on it, your 3 News weather team here, and then we're down to the 40s, even 30s for highs on Sunday. Jay, a much different feel this weekend compared to weekends past.
Yeah, as we always say around here, it's March in Ohio. Thanks, Matt. Well, it was the dunk heard round the basketball world that happened right here in Cleveland last night. Stephanie Haney is here now with that and other trending topics in Clicking in Cleveland. Good afternoon, Stephanie.
Good afternoon, Jay. Yeah, we are going to get to the fallout from that in a moment. But first, Swenson's Drive-In Restaurant. It's opening its 19th new one, this time out in Youngstown. They're working on a little empire there. Construction is now officially underway in Boardman. So this new location will be at 1247 Boardman Poland Road, which is just south of Youngstown near the Pennsylvania border. And most recently, Swenson's just opened one on January 31st, not that long ago, on Brook Park Road in Brooklyn. That's a little closer to us here in Cleveland. Lots of options. And we have a couple more items to share from 3 News contributor Laura DeMarco's Spring Fun Guide for Northeast Ohio. There's a rare opportunity right now at the Cleveland Museum of Art. Through June 12th, you can see a collection of masterpieces from one of the world's greatest 20th century artists, Alberto Giacometti. The exhibit shows major pieces from the years 1945 to 1966. And now, through April 18th, you can visit Spring Discovery Days at the Greater Cleveland Aquarium. Discovery Days include contests, trivia, and other programs. We've got those details on WKYC.com. All right, here we go. Akron's favorite son has some apologizing to do. Here's what he had to say to Kevin Love after dunking on his former teammate in last night's Lakers win over the Cavs.
And to be completely honest, I hate to have him be him. He's my guy, that's my brother, and I hope I'm still invited to the wedding. That's all.
Yeah, he wants to be invited to that party for sure. He's talking about his fiancee, Kate Bach, there. So that dunk happened with about 2:41 left in the second quarter, and then the Lakers went on to win by 11 points. Now, he said he wished it wasn't Kevin, and he has nothing but love for him. Obviously, they're all good because we see them here in the timeout after the dunk. Kevin Love getting in on him there with the headlock there. It's all fun, but Jay and Betsy, LeBron James was very sassy. He says if he could take back those 2 points, he would, and they would still win the game by 9. He said, not even my best dunk. I don't need it.
It was incredible. I mean, he's 37 years old, and he looked like he was 23-year-old LeBron again. His head was over the rim when he dunked it. Incredible. Thanks, Steph.
Thank you. Coming up on What's New, this is a live look outside Metro Health, where we are honoring one doctor for all the heart she showed during the pandemic. Stay tuned. We have a big surprise in store for her and her team.
Speaking of surprises, how about a new car? The special gift for a local family in severe need of help is coming up. It's our Show Us Something Good. It'll make you smile.
You really punched that one.
Well, I went to my Price is Right voice. Welcome back to What's New. We've just passed the 2-year marker of the COVID-19 pandemic here in Northeast Ohio. A roller coaster for us. Yeah. Absolutely. But think of the healthcare heroes on the front lines. Since the very beginning, leaving sometimes their own families at home so they could care for others. Some of them going above and beyond to keep their teams uplifted.
Many of them, certainly. Well, so this week we want to say thank you to these amazing heroes. And tonight we begin with Dr. Catherine Curley of Metro Health Medical Center, a fearless leader respected by all of her peers. Here's Lindsay Buckingham with the story.
It was scary. It was quite honestly, it was sort of scary to come into work.
It's been a very long 2 years for the team at Metro Health, but helping these healthcare heroes stay focused, that's Division Director of Hospital Medicine, Dr. Catherine Curley.
You know, you have to just keep getting up in the morning and coming in. And, I think we all still love our patients and want them to get better.
Dr. Curley leads a group of more than 40 physicians, nurse practitioners, and physician assistants, all on the front lines of the pandemic, supporting one another through their darkest days.
You know, nobody wanted this Christmas. It makes me tearful even now. I mean, it's just been so tiring. And, finally we thought we would have a holiday and we just didn't. And, we've really worked our tails off. Finally, it's looking a little bit better, but it has been a long haul.
It's easy to overlook that these dedicated heroes have personal lives too, families at home, a whole life outside the hospital.
It was scary. You'd come to work, treat people with an unknown disease that killed, you'd watch people that you didn't think were going to get real sick, and they'd quickly get sick and pass away. And then, you try to protect yourself and you have to go home to your family at night. It was rough.
Rough, but supported. Dr. Curley's team says her leadership helps them carry on.
There were a lot of times when our group was stressed and we needed a gap filled, and Catherine filled it herself.
And as a mom of 2 teenage daughters herself, she's leading by example.
My children sort of expect me now to be at work. They're surprised when I'm home. So hopefully we'll have more days where they're surprised to see me in the next few weeks.
Her commitment to patients and her team unwavering.
Catherine, first of all, has an absolute love for this hospital and a love for the mission of the hospital. When you train under someone like that, you recognize those qualities and you want to emulate those qualities. So you want to be like that. She's just been an outstanding, phenomenal leader.
With hope for brighter days ahead.
We're here and we're going to be here, and we will take care of anyone who needs us. And just please get vaccinated and don't get sick if you don't need to. And you just don't need to. This vaccine is great.
Dr. Curley, thank you for being a hero with heart.
And we are so lucky to have the hero herself joining us right now, Dr. Catherine Curley of Metro Health. How are you, Catherine?
I'm good. I'm great. Now that the COVID numbers are down, we're all spending some time at home and relaxing and hoping we don't get another wave.
I want to tell you that when we reached out to Metro to nominate someone who they thought went above and beyond during the pandemic to uplift their team, they did not hesitate in saying your name. So seeing all your colleagues and peers behind you, what does this mean to you?
Well, it's just really an honor, and I share it with all of them. I mean, we all were there doing all this work for 2 years, so we thank you.
Well, we want to thank you too. We are not the only ones who appreciate your dedication and service. In fact, a few companies heard about your story and your dedicated team, and they wanted to maybe give you a break and give you a little gift. So, Spirit Airlines is gifting you 2 round-trip tickets to fly anywhere in the world that they fly, so that you can have a much-needed break. How about that? Dr. Curley, how does that make you feel?
Thank you. It's just wonderful to know that people realize how hard this has been.
Well, I didn't want your wonderful team to go away empty-handed either. So right here, I have a $500 gift card for all of you so that you can have as many lunches as you need. We know how hard you are working. We know your dedication. And we know how much you're on your feet. So actually, in addition to this Panera gift card, a company called Gale Shoes, they do high-end nursing shoes. They're going to give each and every one of you a free pair of these shoes because we know how hard you're working. Megan, I'm going to have you come over here really quick. Introduce yourself for us.
Yes, I'm Megan Raffel. I'm a nurse practitioner here with the medicine team.
Okay, and what is it like working under Dr. Curley?
Yeah, so Dr. Curley has always been a very supportive division lead for us. But over the last few years, especially during the pandemic, there were many early mornings adjusting the schedule to manage the surges, and really just actually a lot of listening because there's lots of venting. But it was wonderful to have her as our leader, and we appreciate her so much.
Well, we appreciate you, Megan. Dr. Curley, we appreciate you. Thank you to all of you. Please give yourselves a round of applause, please. You all deserve it. Jay and Betsy, I have been part of some really cool surprises, but this one is so special because they have been on the front lines during a huge part of world history, and these are heroes behind me.
Well, it really is incredible. Dr. Curley, we say thank you, not just to you, but to all of the healthcare workers that helped us get through these last 2 years.
Yeah.
It was great.
Much deserved break, and hopefully those comfy shoes are going to get you through the airport too. How about that?
I know,
I'm
right?
looking up those shoes. I'm like, man, they're good for the nurses. They're good for me too. I'm looking.
Absolutely.
All right,
Lindsay, thank you so much.
You bet, guys.
Well,
you bet.
coming up next on What's New, when a local family facing severe crisis needed help, their prayers were answered. It's a very special Show Us Something Good, and it is right after the break. Stay with us.
Then on 3 News at 6, we have new video of a shooting in North Olmsted moments after the suspect robbed a Starbucks.
Grandpa. Hey, Al, how are you? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm sorry. Hey, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Okay, 1 sec, Crane. Sorry.
Hey there, how are you? Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brandon's microphone. This is Brandon from Euclid Avenue here in Cleveland, Ohio, near.
Yes, hello, I'm Annie here at the Akron Zoo. We are talking about a new expansion project, and Randy is next.
Hi there. I'm realizing I need a lint roller, so I'm going to go ahead and run to my desk if I'm all squared up. Thank you.
It's time now for our show is something good. And over the weekend, a local family got a huge surprise during their Sunday church service. They got
a new car.
Thank you. This was all thanks to the Word Church and Bedford Nissan. They say the family really needed this right now, as several family members have been dealing with health issues. We got to talk to the family about their new ride.
It was very, very humbling. It definitely hit my heart. I felt loved. I felt like they really know us and they really want to make sure that our family was taken care of and our family had the things that we needed to thrive and to succeed and things that we needed to do.
Well, this was the 17th car that the Word Church has given to one of its families.
You could tell
So cool.
she is so appreciative too.
Nice.
What a wonderful thing
Thanks
to
for
do.
the assist on that.
Yeah.
Really
I'd
appreciate
bring out my
good support.
Price is Right
I know
voice.
you like that.
I do. I really like that. I like saying that.
It's okay.
We're out of time, but we're back tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and we hope to see you then on What's New.
3 News at 6 with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, crime concerns. Recent gun violence, including the shooting of a teen at a nearby park and a deadly shooting on an RTA bus, have police on alert. Also, capturing a gunman. New video tonight showing the tense moments North Olmsted officers stopped an armed robbery suspect in his tracks after a holdup at Starbucks. Major expansion plan.
The footprint that's the rainforest, we're going to be over double that footprint.
The Cleveland Metroparks Zoo unveils a one-of-a-kind project that will provide an incredible home for some of the park's most precious creatures. And tornado terror.
Ride!
A line of severe weather wreaks havoc across Texas, and storm chasers capture some unbelievable footage of funnel clouds.
Live from WKYC Studios, this is 3 News at 6 with Russ Mitchell and Laura Queso.
And good evening. Thanks for being with us.
Gun violence in Northeast Ohio becoming a major concern once again.
After several shootings in the Cleveland area the past few days, there are questions this evening about an increase in crime. Brandon Simmons is live at East 30th and Euclid, where last night a man was shot and killed in an RTA bus. Good evening, Brandon.
Yeah, hi, Russ. Yeah, we do know that tonight police did catch the man suspected of shooting another person while aboard the health line. That was here at East 30th and Euclid, as we talked about there. And that person was arrested overnight around 2 a.m. Now, police also outlined what happened on that bus. According to police, the shooter, now identified as 28-year-old DeLorne Martin, was already sitting toward the back of the bus with his girlfriend. Now, the person who was shot and killed, 21-year-old David Cotrellis, got on the bus with his girlfriend and began punching Martin. Martin fought back before pulling a gun and shooting Cutrellis. Now, Martin left the scene, but later showed up at the hospital to be treated for a gunshot wound of his own. Now, when he was released, he was taken into custody, arrested for murder and a prior contempt of court charge. And a quick update on that shooting in Cleveland Heights. It happened just after 6 p.m. at the basketball court at Kane Park. The victim there was a 13-year-old boy who was shot in the buttocks. Now, fortunately, he is recovering well and has already been released from the hospital. Police responded and took statements from those who were still on scene at the time, but still have very little information about exactly what happened there. Now, over in Cleveland Heights, there have been no arrests made in that case, so police are asking anyone with information to come forward, give them a call if they can help. Obviously, a very busy day for investigators yesterday, Russ.
Okay, Brandon Simmons, thank you. New dashcam video shows the moments after the North Olmsted Starbucks was robbed at gunpoint yesterday morning. You can see right here that suspect, now identified as 30-year-old Dominique Helm of Cleveland, shooting at officers. Helm is charged with aggravated robbery and remains in the hospital after being shot by officers. He's expected to survive. That robbery happened during the morning rush with the coffee shop full of customers. Surveillance video show the man police say is Helm waving a gun at customers and workers who were trying to give him money from the register before he runs out of the store.
Russian forces continue to escalate attacks on civilian targets inside Ukraine. And there is growing concern Russian President Vladimir Putin may order the use of chemical weapons in his crippled invasion. Meantime, President Biden is preparing to join other NATO leaders in Brussels this week to address the efforts to end the war. As President Biden heads to Brussels tomorrow, joining an emergency summit with fellow NATO leaders to discuss the ongoing war in Ukraine, later he'll visit Poland, where millions of Ukrainian refugees have sought shelter.
The president is traveling to Europe to ensure we stay united, to cement our collective resolve, to send a powerful message that we are prepared and committed to this for as long as it takes.
Today, a senior defense official said the Russians have intensified their efforts to capture the port city of Mariupol. New video shows explosions at industrial buildings and factories there. But that official says Ukrainian forces are not only defending their country well from the Russian attack, but appear to be successful in taking back some territory the Russians had previously captured. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki has tested positive again for COVID-19 and will not accompany President Joe Biden to Europe. She tweeted that she took a test in preparation for Wednesday's trip, and it came back positive. She says President Biden tested negative today. Tomorrow, on a special edition of NBC Nightly News, Lester Holt will anchor live from Brussels. Lester and the Nightly News team will have in-depth coverage of President Biden's high-stakes meetings with our NATO allies. Again, that's tomorrow night at 6:30, right after this broadcast.
The Supreme Court confirmation hearing for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson got contentious today. While some Senate Republicans are accusing her of being soft on crime, her confirmation is seen as almost certain with Democrats in the majority. Here's Alice Barr from Washington.
Justice Jackson.
Tough questions.
Why would you do something like that?
And nods to history.
The first black woman to be nominated following 115 justices.
In day one of questioning and confirmation hearings for Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, who repeatedly described herself as impartial.
I don't think that anyone can look at my record and say that it is pointing in one direction or another.
The judge's background as a public defender, including representing inmates at Guantanamo Bay, getting a lot of scrutiny. Several Republican senators trying to paint Judge Jackson as soft on crime, accusing her of being lenient in child pornography cases.
You sentence the defenders to substantially below not just the guidelines, which are way higher, but what the prosecutor asked for.
The evidence in these cases are among the worst that I have seen, and yet, as Congress directs, judges don't just calculate the guidelines and stop.
She noted several of her family members have served in law enforcement.
We have to have people being held accountable for committing crimes. but we have to do so fairly under our Constitution.
Democrats likely have the votes to confirm Judge Jackson on their own. While that would not change the court's 6-3 conservative leaning, it would make her the first black woman on the nation's highest court, a step Judge Jackson hopes would open doors for future generations. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And tomorrow, Governor DeWine will deliver his State of the State address, his first since 2019 because of the pandemic. Key points of the speech are expected to be COVID, guns, abortion, and the bribery scandal involving First Energy. It's set to begin at noon at the State House. And tomorrow marks the beginning of a series of meetings to try to hammer out a compromise on boundaries for state legislative districts. The Ohio Redistricting Commission will have until Monday to come up with a new map. The Ohio Supreme Court has rejected 3 sets of House and Senate maps drawn by the panel, saying each time the plans were unconstitutionally gerrymandered to favor Republicans.
About 1 year ago, an Ohio House bill went into effect which implemented cross-reporting for animal and human abuses. Isabel Lawrence checked in with a local animal shelter and children's services to learn more about the impact this bill is having today. Hi, Isabel.
Hi, Laura. House Bill 33 went into effect in April. It mandates that social workers, veterinarians, and counselors report animal neglect and abuse they may become aware of or see on a call. It also requires reporting if animal control officers or dog wardens see child abuse, for example. Lake Humane Society tells me they receive about 2 to 3 calls per month from these mandated reporters. While these calls aren't impacting their shelter capacity, they do find these cases tend to be more serious situations of animal neglect and abuse. Friendship APL in Lorain County says they are grateful for the relationships with these agencies who are calling in. They're also finding, though, that these calls tend to be more complicated and require more time and resources.
We might be working with some animals to help them along, or that require additional vet care or require extended stays to help them socialize or, get over whatever environment that they were coming out of.
Another important part of this bill is that it also works in the opposite direction. So I spoke with the executive director at Lorain County Children's Services. She says if the APL or Humane Society responds to a call about animal cruelty, they go in the home and there are children in that home, they are also mandated to call Children's Services. I also called around to other shelters and organizations. City Dogs Cleveland told me they personally are not feeling the impact of House Bill 33, but they are currently inundated with strays. And the Lorain County Dog Kennel says they are not impacted by this bill because they, again, primarily take in strays, but both definitely full right now with dogs.
You did a lot of work on this story. Isabel, thank you. Disney employees who felt their company should have taken a stronger stand against the so-called Don't Say Gay bill in Florida organized a walkout today. Workers started walking off the job at the Walt Disney corporate offices in Burbank, California this afternoon, too. They're upset at the Disney CEO's slow response to the legislation, saying the company could have done more to try to prevent the legislation from passing the Florida legislature. Well, a new chapter is ahead for the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. Today it revealed details of a major expansion project.
Manny Abraham brings us more on the upcoming new home for the park's gorillas and orangutans.
This is home to baby Kayembe, born in October of last year. But it won't be long before he moves into his new home, and he won't have to travel very far. The Cleveland Metroparks Zoo revealed plans for its new 140,000 square foot indoor destination, expanding the zoo's rainforest.
But if you think about the rainforest as it sits right now, the footprint that's the rainforest, we're going to be over double that footprint. Right?
The primate forest will add 2 new expansive multi-story habitats. It'll be the new home for the park's gorillas and orangutans. It comes after the zoo celebrated the birth last year of both a baby gorilla and a baby orangutan, 2 of the world's most endangered primates.
And we're going to utilize a roofing material that allows light to come in. So the inside of these new gorilla and orangutan spaces will be like you're outside. So even though it stays warm in the winter, it'll be sunlight, great guest experience, ultraviolet light for the animals. So
the expansion will be centered around the cross-country mortgage forest gallery, a new entranceway to the primate forest, immersing guests in the exhibit with interactive technology and multi-story play structures.
really working on the details, and we'll have a lot more announcements and information to share as we get closer to being able to break ground.
Construction is set to start next year, but it'll be part of a 10-year project, and it's all leading up to the zoo's 150th anniversary. Russ?
Nice new digs. Okay, Amanda Abraham, thanks so much. There is a new way to get around Cleveland. Bird launched its shared e-bike service today with 100 bikes across the city. Each bike has what they call e-assist to make the trip a bit easier. That's help from an electric power generator to make rides less strenuous. But before you hop on, you'll need to download the app, which will show you where the bikes and scooters are located and the health of each bike. Coming up tonight, fewer options. Another team passes on Baker Mayfield. What could be next for the Browns quarterback?
And dangerous weather. Some Texas residents get a hard lesson of the dangers of spring weather. And Betsy's here with a look at our forecast, too.
We have a little bit of everything coming in our forecast as we head through the week. That same storm system that spawned the tornadoes yesterday in Texas continues to rake across portions of the deep south. We will be on the receiving end of some pretty squirrely weather tomorrow afternoon. All of that is ahead of a big cool down by the weekend. Spring. I have more details straight ahead.
3 News at 6 is sponsored by Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. It's time to fall in love again with your home.
Get inside! Run!
Some scary scenes outside a store in Round Rock, Texas last night. You see people running after a line of severe storms spawned several tornadoes across the state. No one was hurt by this tornado. But in other parts of Texas, one person was killed, at least a dozen injured by the violent storms.
Drone video shows the damage from above in the town of Madisonville, Texas. Homes and cars ripped to shreds and destroyed by those storms.
And take a look at what a storm chaser in Elgin, Texas captured on video. Wow, look at that. A tornado took a truck on a wild ride. You can see the twister hitting this red truck as it crosses the road. The vehicle was blown over on its side, spun around, then blown back right side up. There was actually someone inside there, but look at this. A few seconds later, the driver drives away safely.
That's incredible.
That is. That's a story to tell, certainly. Very lucky as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Betsy, crazy weather across much of the country.
It's spring, yeah, and in the deep south, man, they are so close to that Gulf of Mexico, which is just a hotbed of energy for the atmosphere, and you get those right conditions and things just get going. And don't you know, the car manufacturers are watching that same video and going, man, that's a commercial to be made right there. Here's a look at the weather here over the next few hours. Rain, rain, rain. It's already on radar. It is continuing to move in. Once the rain gets here, it's going to lock us in as far as the temperatures go. So a mild night on tap, upper 40s to near 50 to start the day tomorrow. There's a live look at the radar for you. Most of this is relatively light, but it's going to start to pick up in intensity a little bit, especially as we get into the latter part of the evening. We'll get more and more moisture pushing in here. But farther to the west, we are starting to see the leading edge of these showers now getting into areas of Sandusky, over toward Huron, down to Wellington, Bailey Lakes, into the Nova area there in northern sections of Ashland County, into Worcester and Smithville, Orville, and then eventually over toward portions of Brewster and Zor, East Sparta. Y'all are getting some of that rain right now, and that will continue to pick up. There's plenty more where this comes from. This storm system, Matt and I were talking about this, earlier this afternoon. It's really impressive. The models did not handle it as much as it looks to be impressive now. So basically, the models kind of laid out a pretty normal winter storm system with a severe weather component. And today, it's much more complex, and it's just fascinating to watch all this kind of unfold. Obviously, there is the severe threat going on in the south. Meanwhile, there's winter storm warnings posted for the northern portions of the Great Lakes, wind advisories and high wind warnings in the Central Plains states. We have all of this to go before this storm finally departs. And once it does depart, it's going to dislodge some cold air from Canada, and that's going to set us up for a very chilly weekend. For tonight, the severe weather stays south. Note the thunderstorm threat that sneaks up farther to the north, though. But we definitely have a moderate risk with ongoing tornadoes currently on the ground in portions of Mississippi, headed for the Alabama area. But tomorrow, things get a little bit more interesting. While that big squall line and area of severe weather that we have tonight moves east, there will be a developing severe weather threat throughout the Ohio Valley and back into Indiana. It's a slight risk, but there is a risk. And let's go a little more detailed here as to exactly where that risk is. Don't pay so much attention to the line, but we're just looking at where it's denoted where that best risk is. Farther south of Cleveland, not so much up toward the Ashtabula area. So what are these risks? Well, the timing right now looks to be in the evening tomorrow, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're going to give it a nice wide berth there. As far as the threats go, wind gusts. Big wind gusts are potential. It's going to be a windy day tomorrow anyway. You throw some thunderstorms in there, and that can propel the winds even faster, called convective gusts. Hail is a possibility. We have a lot of cold air. It's not exactly the middle of summer right now, so hail is definitely a good potential tomorrow. And spin-up tornado chances. There is enough shear in the atmosphere that it looks like we could get a real squirrely situation setting up for us. As far as preps for tomorrow, clean up the yard debris that may be out there, clear the drains, you know the drill, and also keep an eye on where your safety spots are. There is scheduled to be a statewide tornado drill tomorrow. That has been canceled because of the threat for severe weather. So if you hear some kind of a weather alert tomorrow, do know that it's an actual alert. It's not the drill. When we start talking about thunderstorms versus tornadoes, we basically throw in the element of spin. One way that meteorologists like to look at the spin potential that the atmosphere is exhibiting is with something called helicity. This is a physics thing.